Let's talk about why fearless founders. And I think there's a double meaning there with the fearless and fearless. I want to dig into that a little bit with you. And you've certainly developed a superpower. Whenever you listen to a conversation, a founder, you've done this with me so many times, that you can smell the fear. Like, tell us about that. Like, why are we naming our podcast Fearless Founders, and what's the smell about?
If you don't mind, just give it that one example back at your last company of one situation. Come on, everyone.
So many. Okay, I'll give you only one. I bootstrapped the company for 7 years, and then the investors come, the VCs, and the first thing is, Ike, you need to build an elite executive team, and that will help you scale this thing. Like even if that like I don't know what I'm like, I need these people. Like that's the perception. So I go on a hunt to find these extraordinary people, and I find them. These people have scaled many companies. They are very experienced. I'm talking about CFO, CTO, CRO, like the first time ever the company is hiring these. And they are they're experts in their fields, right? And I left them alone, and I gave them the free will to do whatever they want, because I had the fear that they are more experienced than me. They know what they're doing, so they must execute better than I could. I never had the courage to give them feedback or coaching. What I didn't understand at the time is these are great people. They have great accomplishments, but they've never built FSoft. They've never started FSoft. They've never been in the trenches talking to customers as many times I did. I've been talking to the customers for this specific problem for 20 years, even though I started the company, 7 years prior, right? But I couldn't bring myself to give them the feedback and tell them this is how this company operates. And they have been trained on all the other companies that they've been successful, right? And it's nothing right or wrong, but I was the one that's responsible to tell them this is how we're going to do it at this company at this time that I've started it. But I was full of fear as a first-time founder at the time. So there's your first example.
Wow. See, and that's why both of us, we agreed that this was going to be the Fearless Founders podcast. And like you said, this fear that, oh no, I won't make the right decisions, right? At the same time, I am capable. I'm capable of building something that is unique and different, which is why I'm giving my whole soul and my family's budget, everything, we're going to go into it. And that's why you named it. And for the listeners, if you remember, I do 360 reviews, and I remember them saying, when are we going to get direction? Because we were sold on Ike, right? And it is such a common element that keeps recurring, that the fearless leader wants to grow the business, gets the right team together, and then abdicates the role, the leadership role. And they're the ones saying, so where are we going? How are we going to make it succeed? Which way do we go? And they want it. And just so you know, Ike, everywhere I go, I see this happening regularly in differing levels of abdication. Some a little bit, some complete, some whatever. And which is why we named this the Fearless Founders podcast. We have an extraordinary goal. We're going to change the world in whatever little vertical or market size, but nobody banks and gives you money for a small idea. They give you money for a big idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the mere fact that sometimes you could even say that when you start off, that's the smallest risk. There's nothing.
Yes.
You're not proving anything. You don't have people's payroll lives on hand. You don't have some board member yet uh, putting pressure on you.
So our audience understands everybody has fears. We are specifically focused on helping first-time founders here, but the CFO, CTO you bring has their own fears. The employee you hire at the customer success department has fears. Your investor has fears.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a regular human condition. But if we can help founders recognize that they are acting out of fear at that moment, that's 50% of the problem, right? Then we can work on fixing it, right? The recognizing it is the first one. So, Bino, give us a few real life examples.
Sure,
that
absolutely.
you faced.
Yeah, and you said at the start, I seem to have a superpower for detecting fear. It's because I am the one that has the most fear, and I have spent years, decades working on myself that I can immediately see in that other person me. So it's easy for me to, oh, I know why he's saying that. Oh,
Good.
I know why he's doing that. Because it's easy to see. It just, you can spot it. Yeah, like we talked about it. If you spot it, you've got it. If you can spot that behavior, you've got
I
it.
love it. Yeah.
Because you're familiar with what's going on. Go, yeah, I get it. I see it. I'll tell you, I just got off multiple coaching sessions just in this last week. I'll give you two. One company is at 100 million, and one company is less than 5. The less than 5 million company has 2 partners. In fact, both of them have partners. And the 2 partners in the smaller company said to me, hey, we're thinking of having a more strategic allocation of our time. And so our small team at the office, we're worried that if they don't see us in the office, they'll worry that we're just golfing, that we're not putting intensity and we're not carrying the load. Conversely, they're also thinking that if we're not in the office, they're going to slack off. And the other partner said specifically, how can we manage the optics when we communicate to the team that we are going to have a unique and a different role that isn't in the office? And I just said, hey, great topic. I'll tell you right now, you're reeking of fear because you're ultimately worried about how you're being perceived. That's a story. You're also worried about whether or not you not being in the trenches will result in less performance. And your value is tied to performance and being seen as a leader. There's so many topics we can talk about when it comes to fear, but that and they went, you're right. I said, why couldn't you, if you were completely fearless, if you couldn't lose, what would you say? Could you say something like this? Hey, gang, we're going to double, triple the revenues. In order for that to happen, he's got to do this, I've got to do that. The different roles than what we've done. We're going to invest in you and train you so that some of you who want to aspire to be at a higher level, we can get you up there. But we're going to change the dynamics of how we function. And the indicator that it's working is when the revenue numbers start going in that trajectory. You guys game? And they went, oh. They realized how much of a spiral they were in, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The $100 million company, 2 partners again, said last week, within the week, it was last Wednesday, said, could you come into our staff meeting because you've been coaching us, but we don't know how to coach the executives. We don't know how to manage and help them. And one of the funny guys said, "Yeah, could you be our Yoda in that room?"
Yeah. I'm laughing because I've been in that situation before.
Yeah, you understand, right?
Yeah.
And ultimately, I said, and I reminded them, and you remember this formula, this sequence left to right that says UI, unconscious incompetence, is how we're automatically programmed, goes to CI, conscious incompetence, being conscious of your incompetence. And that's when you said, if you're self-aware, that's 50%. I'd say it's even 70% of the problem. If you can catch yourself being incompetent, leads to consciously acting competent, CC. And then the last one being UI, UC, unconsciously competent.
Yeah.
You want to go from UI to CI to CC to UC.
Yeah.
And that's what we're
We
going to
definitely need to do an episode on that one.
imagine this. And this is why I do what I do. Imagine the CEO has the most influence on the culture and the performance attributes. If that person is fearful, then more likely that you're going to have a dysfunctional family, professional family. Because each one already in the org chart of unconscious incompetence, each one has it, they're going to be already projecting their own instance of worry for what the CEO is going to say, and then the directors and then the managers. It's really a waste of resources, a waste of time, waste of energy, right? That's why this Fearless Founders podcast is. We're here to help people look, hey, these are the elements that you need to keep an eye out for. This is why the speakers are on. They know what's going on. And we'll always highlight, hey, did you notice that this person was in fear mode? And in a perfect world where you couldn't fail, I believe that people would act with so much more accuracy, speed, confidence versus the current, oh, what if it's the wrong call? Right? What if
Yes.
if I look weak in front of the board or in front of my new executives who are older, more experienced than I am, and you're paralyzed, or you create a story and you abdicate your role? Pops up managing the board, managing the executives, managing customers, not having hard discussions, difficult conversations early and quickly. That's one of the biggest ones.
Tell us more about that. I think if I remember correctly, you call that stinking fish. There's a stinking fish in the room.
Oh, you remember that? Yeah.
Yes, of course. Tell us. You give the first time founders a little bit more like the tools that they can use to, recognize and maybe overcome a little bit.
Yeah, because we're trying to keep this version short. Let me give you it as fast as possible.
Sure.
What I've learned over time is that people invariably do not want to be unliked. It's just a natural. We were taught as kids, be nice. Don't say rude things. It's better to keep quiet than to say something mean. Zip your lip. All of these things come in. And so it's very unnatural to be clear, concise, accurate in addressing people. And so invariably, people, leaders, CEOs, everyone skirts around the issue. They don't approach it quickly. And it keeps manifesting in different ways, like, well, have you had that conversation? No. The wife just had surgery. This actually came up. And so there's always a reason to defer it. And that's why I'll come up with this analogy of I smell stinky fish. We still haven't absolved the issue. We're skirting. You say you addressed it, but I still smell a stinky fish problem. The root cause hasn't been addressed. Again, we do not want to be disliked. For the more popular you are, you learn that in high school, junior high, the more valuable you are, right? And so I want to be able to, one CEO says, I'm having a stand-up meeting, but I don't have anything positive to say. I said, so? He goes, well, I got to have something positive to say. Are you saying that you're only going to give them good news or have stand-up meetings, all hands meeting with good news only? Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You give the
See,
bad news and let them fix the problem so that your next meeting can be good news. If
there
it,
you go. There you go. There you go. This is a long-term issue. We will never be completely eradicated from fear. But if we catch ourselves, and the tool that I share with everyone is just count to three. Before you do your normal reaction, count to three in case there could be a more powerful response. Don't react, respond. And if you just count to three, it just allows you to just go, I'm feeling irritated again. I'm gonna, it's me. It's not about him, it's me. It's me not feeling good enough, strong enough. So that's what I've learned over time.